Let's do it.
Are we rocking?
We are.
Wait, are we recording?
We are.
Whoa.
We're going to start that way every show, I guess.
Gentlemen.
Are we recording? I think we're recording. Are we
Start
recording?
your engines.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
Gee, it's good to see you.
You as well. It's been like a week.
It has been a week.
It has
What
been a week.
it's been, yeah.
You know, it's funny. I recorded my other show yesterday, and I was trying to set up my ring light so I had, you could see my face on Skype, and I couldn't find the power supply for it. I was like, God, I hope it's at the theater, because that's the last place I headed out.
And sure enough.
And I got here, and it was sitting right on the countertop there.
Right on.
Nice.
All right.
I was like, I'm glad they didn't move it or put it someplace else, thinking it belonged to something else.
It would have ended up in a junk drawer around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are Our Town Podcast.
Indeed we are.
Coming to you live from the historic
Recorded live.
Renton Civic Theatre.
Yes, in the heart of downtown.
Not in front of a studio audience, by the way.
No, not tonight.
No.
Not tonight.
Someday we will, though, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
I think
inevitable.
so.
Yeah, but we are upstairs in the old projection room yet again, which is now also the storage and sewing room. I guess you would say that. Costuming room.
Costuming.
Yeah, drapers.
Yep.
Something like that.
And we have a different angle today for the camera people. The people on
so
YouTube's.
want to give you a better impression of where we're sitting. Usually we sit where the camera's at, right? So,
and depending on how good the audio sounds on this, I might even just upload the video straight to Spotify so people can see it when they listen.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Right on. All right.
No ADR necessary.
no having to
like
line up the audio
every week.
Line up the audio to the video so it doesn't look like we're in a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, but it's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, we have our fourth member here also. He's not.
Good to see that guy.
He's asleep right now.
And he's not even contractually obligated to be here.
Not tonight.
I brought him along thinking maybe you guys had an idea for maybe a skit or something, but whatever. He might just be studio dressing at this point.
Derp, whatever you feel like doing tonight, we're up for it. Pretty much.
He's got that look that Beaker has.
Singapore, Charles. Don't forget Singapore.
He's got that look that Beaker has whenever Jim Henson puts his hand up his,
Beaker.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good.
Yeah, good.
How did the week treat you?
He's good.
I'm still here. So, yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign.
It's a good start.
Yeah. We had a really long episode last night, and we recorded for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and you'd find that at the notaboutyoupod.com. Yeah, you and cousin Marianne,
and Jamal Harrington, who's actually going to be here in the theater on April 1st.
See what a small world we live in.
With Kermit Apio being the headliner, which
that's a big show.
He's really, really, really funny.
Yeah, what's the date on that?
April 1st.
And can you go to like Jamco?
You can actually go to the Facebook page for that podcast. Just search for Not About You Pod. The letter U, Not About You Pod, and it will be one of the more recent posts.
Okay, so they can pick up tickets and information.
Yeah, there's a link. There's a link to the I don't remember Eventbrite. I think is where he's doing his stuff from.
Yeah. All right, and that's at the Renton Civic Theatre where we're
you could
coming
probably
to
even
you
get the
from.
tickets here at the theater too.
Yeah, so go to rentoncivictheatre.org.
Yeah,
check out all the upcoming events.
It's going to be a good show. There's 4 comedians. It's Kermit Apio is headlining. Then we have Justin Hayes, who's so funny. And then there's Amos Mack is the other one. And then, of course, Jamal.
Okay.
Jeez, how's it go?
All right. Yeah.
It's going to be an excellent show. I've seen all those guys live. They're really funny.
Check it out.
Sorry.
Check it out. So do you guys want to jump into some headlines? What's been happening in the world?
Yeah.
Week?
Yeah.
I saw a video today of George Santos.
Yeah.
He has a drag name apparently.
Oh, well, don't we all? I mean,
I don't.
right,
Dude,
well, that's a mission.
Like he's a drag performer?
Like he dressed up in drag and has a name for that character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but speaking of George Santos, who we're talking about, I mean, new congressman from New York State, I think
he was
the
Long Island
area,
like
right?
30
Yeah.
or something.
Was sort of busted for, well, not really busted, but found out that he lied
He's a pathological liar.
pretty much on everything on his resume, right?
Yeah.
Was elected to Congress, Republican from Long Island, took the seat from, I guess, a long-standing Democrat that had held the seat, but lied about like where he'd worked, said he worked at some of the top financial firms in New York, and turns out he never did. But then lots of other interesting stuff about him has popped out, like some of his former roommates have accused him of stealing like a really expensive, I don't know why anybody would buy a $550 scarf, but like stealing like a scarf.
What?
That they see him in video wearing at some rallies and stuff. So it's like, that's my scarf. But also that this guy, I think was in Brazil for a while and has been accused of fraud in Brazil because I think he took somebody's checkbook.
I think he might have been charged, actually.
Oh, in Brazil?
In Brazil. Yeah.
Okay. So he's wanted by a foreign government at this point then?
To some degree.
To some degree, yeah.
And, but then just top to bottom. Like he had 2 knee replacements.
Yeah.
That simply isn't true. That he went to a college on a volleyball scholarship, never even attended the college.
Doesn't look like he's ever played volleyball in his life.
I mean, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
And
what do you have to do? I don't know what you're showing me, sir.
I'm showing you a still image of what I talked about just a minute ago.
Is that Representative Santos?
I believe the one in the black dress.
Yeah. All right. Well, more power to him.
because it's Milli Vanilli, I think that's the catcher there.
Was that Milli Vanilli?
Yeah.
No.
Aren't those guys both dead now?
No, one of them committed suicide about a decade ago, but
What
the other
a
one's still alive.
sad tale that was.
Which and you know that guy's probably at home going, fucking TikTok.
Well, also that's kind of the difference. One difference in our society of then and now is like we still had some type of public shaming.
Yeah.
Right, but now our public isn't really a thing. Right. Which I don't necessarily think is inherently bad, but being an immature species as we are, if we don't have that societal boundaries of truth telling and not murdering and then shit goes off the rails, right? It's like, and it's not just George Santos. It's like, and I'm going to tie this in with President Biden and ex-President Trump and whomever else stealing shit from the fucking White House. Documents marked as classified or classified documents or whichever they might be. It's still our property. Right. I don't give a fuck if it's a ship called Joe. It doesn't fucking matter to me. It's not their property. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, but it also happens to be potentially classified and dangerous shit. But it's our property. Don't steal our shit.
Yeah. Wasn't it Biden's people that found it and said, "Oh shit, here you go. Sorry."
That the archives at this point were not specifically looking for it. Yes, but it's still not his property. How it just traveled via box into some, you know what I mean? It's weird to me. But it's like he's not getting 1,000 pages a day as the vice president. That it's just a mountain of paperwork. It's like you got people to deal with all that. Right?
Well,
you know what I mean? And are you telling me your lawyers are digging through your boxes? No, they're not. They might have some paralegal who went to college or something doing it, but a $1,000 an hour lawyer is not moving fucking boxes.
That's right.
In a garage in Delaware. Yeah. Right. So.
And didn't they find the first ones before the election, but didn't say anything about it until
which
after?
Is also that's shitty politics, but it's still shitty.
Well, I mean,
quit stealing our shit, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
I don't think
and none of these motherfuckers, none of them are saying we need to make the all the safeguards more robust.
Right.
Let's make them more robust so that you have to check your shit out. Blah blah blah. It's like nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they should come up with an agency, a central agency that deals with intelligence, like a central intelligence agency that could keep track of this stuff. Right.
Well, they're not supposed supposed to deal with shit in the U.S., right? And we do. We have the archivists. That is their job. So every time something is marked as classified, yeah, they do, but they're not supposed to.
No, okay.
It's supposed to be
FBI or
State Department stuff.
Just
it should be.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I'm okay with because they've done some questionable shit. So's the FBI, bro. But that being said,
you don't say.
which all of that points to me that our watchdog agencies should be more robust,
right? Not
less.
Yeah.
Right. All of those abuses of power lend themselves to the same thing, and that power was not checked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the whole point of having any of these powerful systems that can have lethal force, right, against other citizens, right. You fucking they need watchdog services.
Yeah.
Keeping on them. Slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow down the process. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Right? Quit fucking us and stealing our shit.
It's like Congress also has a congressional ethics office, right?
Yeah,
which did. Yes, good point. That would look into this George Santos stuff and recommend sanctions or whatever, right? But
with non-binding. Right? They didn't have a real stick to use, right?
Right.
But that's fine.
But shouldn't the Justice Department have something sort of similar for this kind of stuff?
You can lie, right? As long as he didn't do weird stuff, which I think he did with campaign finance and stuff like that, and lying about income and stuff like that. But until you break a law, you don't break a law. Yeah. And also,
there's a question for both of you guys. You might know the answer. Don't they do background checks on people who want to become public servants?
No, not that.
Well,
typically, it's left to the party.
And
it's that kind of vetting. And then typically the party goes, well, the opposition party will do all that for us. They'll look into, they'll do the Google searches so we don't have to.
Right.
But what? What is that?
Yeah.
You would think if I was to go, you know what, I want to be a governor, they would go through my browser history and anything else I've done on the internet.
Ain't nobody going through my browser history. I clean that shit every day.
Ubuntu.
I do like to look up some very weird shit.
You exclusively browse
what is
on
that?
incognito. You know, the thing though with incognito mode is it just doesn't save your cache to your computer. That doesn't mean that it can't be found.
No, I mean they can track whatever. But
I mean, if you,
but they evidently, I don't know, they're not, and only if we as a society demand that they do.
Yeah.
Do background checks. Do a little soul searching.
You should definitely make sure that they're not a pathological liar. I mean,
I would think, although
we wouldn't have had Trump if that was the case.
I don't know. And that's kind of people, make fun of politicians and lawyers.
What was the congresswoman? I think she was New York too, that resigned because she had an affair or something, and there was like some nude photos of her out there somewhere.
I don't remember that.
And they kind of were like, "Hey, you gotta, you're kind of an embarrassment. Let's go." I mean, look at Al Franken, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Did some questionable stuff.
If he was a Republican, he would have been like, "That wasn't me. You can't prove it was me."
Something, yeah. I don't know, and I mean, some people have a level of, they feel bad.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For doing wrong,
right?
And I think that's something we should promote in our world. To some degree, I think guilt is dangerous, right?
I made a mistake on a job that I was a part of just this week, where I did not double check a quote that we got from a vendor, and they put the wrong color item on the quote back to me, even though I had white and they gave me quote for black. I turned it in, said, order this, no problem. We got the black ones and they were wrong. Yeah. We needed the white ones. And then, so up in arms, oh my God, we're system failure. And I wrote a long ass email. Hey, I'm so sorry. I'll double check. It's on me. My bad, because I felt bad about it.
You took responsibility.
I took responsibility for it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what nobody's doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no one wants to be liable is a thing.
Yeah.
So you can't get sued if you're not liable, right?
Yeah.
I guess, but for social mistakes, etc., we should still cough up and go, oops.
Yeah.
Right? Because mistakes do happen. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. And that kind of benefits us as a whole, because then the parameter for us as human beings is that we can make a boo-boo, right? Take responsibility and be forgiven, move on.
I once had a customer say in somebody called them for a reference, and they said, oh, I know these reference calls are like, everybody's going to tell us. They're only going to give us people that are going to tell us good things about them, so it's going to be, I understand they've done a good job. She said, no, I'll tell you what, they have not always done a great job for us. They've made mistakes, but it's how they responded to those mistakes that mattered to us.
Sure.
Right? Did they take ownership of it and come out and fix it, do whatever they could, and that was the best reference I've ever gotten.
Jeez. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I know Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans have such a small majority in the House right now, and I think if Santos was asked to resign, that the governor of New York would pick a temporary replacement.
I don't know what the rules are in New York.
Wasn't he told to resign? I mean, I thought I remember.
That was the other guy, governor. That was Cuomo.
But if that's the case, and I could be wrong about that, I think that's how it works. But
because in some places the party themselves put one in.
Can they? Okay.
Yeah, but it's different state to state and county to county.
Yeah. So if that's the case, it's a Democrat governor in New York. They certainly wouldn't want to lose a seat. Even though it would only be probably temporary until a special election could be held.
Something. It'd still be a year. Or whatever.
But man, come on, let's do better.
We got to do better. Because it just makes our, systems look poor and stupid.
Yeah.
It makes us look stupid as a people. You know what I mean? It's like politics might seem, and all politics are local or whatever you call it, but that's still an international story now, right? Just like we hear about, terrible politicians or people doing stupid shit elsewhere. It's not like it stays in Long Island, right? Oh, man. And people, those are good jobs. Being a congressperson is a good job. There's no reason not to be a statesperson when you're there.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. The grandstanding, the pilfering, the nonsense does not have to happen. It's a good job where you can have good things done for your people back home.
Yeah.
Honest to God, it's not...
And this is where I'm sort of held up on term limits. Part of me is like, I don't want term limits because we have term limits. It's called the election every couple of years, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like every person that gets into office immediately has to turn around and start campaigning again.
Yeah,
because it's such a short time.
Yeah, and term limits aren't they weren't baked into the Constitution to begin with. Right. So I think that's a really steep hill.
Yeah.
When we could just turn around and say that we can only, and this is doable immediately, it would just cost somebody a bullet. If you said that all elections are only publicly funded.
Yeah.
Only, period. Bing, bong, bing, no ads, no this, that, other thing.
No money.
Everybody gets X amount of public airwaves, right?
Yep.
And that's it.
Isn't that how it used to be? I mean,
I don't know. Well, and there's always been shenanigans with party bosses and violence and shit like that. Don't get me wrong.
And I know that as president, if you're campaigning for president, you can say, I want to take the public money option and not the private money option, so you can take tax dollars and there's a certain amount set aside, but nobody wants to do that because the other guy's not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And
but to have it, $1 billion plus industry, that's just madness. Because who do you think is investing in that?
Right.
It's like, and it's just dumb. It's a dumb system.
Yeah.
It's a dumb system. It's like, and we don't have to alter the Constitution to do it that way.
Right.
Because, I was just talking with Mary Clymer, best human on earth.
Nice.
About should we have an age limit to the presidency? Because cognitive decline is cognitive decline is very real, and after at age 70, it skyrockets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the probability of it happening. It's like nuclear football is not a real football. Right. It's like, you know what I mean?
We have a age limit to run, right? You have to be 35 or older. Yep. So I mean,
but that's because they were dying at 37.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like they didn't need a term limit. They got typhus
and wooden teeth.
But I don't know. I don't want to try to tackle something that's not already baked into Constitution, because if we had a constitutional Congress or whatever, the bad guys would run away with it. Right. It'd be awful.
Right.
So, I'd rather not open that can.
Oh man. So I was just looking up that car you have on.
Our next door story.
Oh my God, dude!
The Taliban supercar.
Yeah,
It's actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah, it really does
Have
look
you
like.
seen it at all?
No.
Here, I'll start the video over so you can actually see.
I didn't know they were manufacturing anything.
They're not. So this was something that a student started like 5 years ago, I think, before the Taliban even retook control. Like at the university, he was building this car, and he built the body of it and the chassis and all that stuff, and it was really cool looking. Well, they've stuck a motor from a 2000 Toyota Corolla into this supercar.
Yeah.
And they can do donables with it in the snow, which is kind of cool, but it looks really cool. But the Taliban has gone, look what we've done. Check it out. Our first supercar, our first car for the Afghani people.
So what they don't
It can't be driven on any road in the country.
No.
what they don't know is they made a kit car.
Yeah.
That's basically what it looks like.
Oh, yeah,
It's definitely
TJ
a kit
Hooker
car.
and shit, man.
I mean, it's like Hardcastle McCormick right there.
Nice. Geez, good callback, Todd.
Hardcastle and McCormick.
In case you guys don't know, that car in that show was a kit car.
That was a kit car. Yeah.
That's great.
That was only fresh in my mind because I saw it.
Was that Brian Dennehy? That was,
Yes,
it was.
Dennehy? Yeah.
And not Jan Michael. Who was the other guy?
It was
Jan Michael was Airwolf.
That was
that's
Airwolf.
right.
Yeah.
I don't remember the guy's name, but I can picture him.
Yeah,
right there.
He was. I think he went on to become like a game show host or something too. He looks like one of those game show host guys.
Yeah.
But the car looks cool shit. But it's legitimately just a kit
cool
car.
LED lights and stuff. It's all black.
It
and
looks.
it's low
Fundamentalists
profile.
don't invent shit.
No.
That's why it was the fucking Dark Ages, dude.
You know what it is?
They don't do shit.
It looks like one of the cars from Grand Theft Auto, which is not a brand name car, period.
Probably not played a lot in the Taliban ruled Afghanistan.
Seriously, though.
Fuck 'em. And so every time I hear Marjorie Taylor Greene or anybody saying how they love the base, guess what the word Taliban is?
Right.
Yeah. It's like it's the same. There's a Taliban-style ding-dongs everywhere on Earth, right? It's just a weird fucking boo-boo that happens to the human mind sometimes. I don't know. They're so scared of every fucking thing around them that they just want to crush the world to look like them. Or I don't know what it is. It blows my fucking mind. But stop it. Stop.
I mean, would I like to see it at a car show? Sure, why not? Because I'd like to see it up close because it looks cool in this video. But I imagine the closer you get to it, the less spectacular it will.
I think we could all go out and get like a 2000 Toyota Corolla and just sit in it and rev the engine and close our eyes.
Imagine.
You know what, Charles? What we should do is get a 2000 Corolla and then plaster some Lamborghini posters on the inside. So
there's probably an Instagram filter, right? You could just turn your Corolla into it.
If there's not, flag that because we need to come up with a filter for that. Just take your car and make it into a supercar, right? Turning my '98 Saturn.
I'm sure there's already a filter. I'm sure just turns your car into a supercar.
Yeah, I wonder if Andrew Tate's going to go get one of these once he gets out.
Oh, I'm sure I bet you that's one of his 35 cars.
He'd love Taliban, right? Because women are secondary citizens, right? It's like only good for fucking gratification. It just, you know what I mean? It's like fuck that shit. Then move to Afghanistan, then, bro. Right?
I've got 2 Hummers and one of them's a car.
And I don't. He's accused of crimes, right? He hasn't been convicted, so I can't really say one way or the other. But that sort of mentality, one bleeds to the next, and they're both just way too old. Right? Humans not only have gone past that, but we need to continue past that. Just dumb.
Yeah. Well, speaking of dumb and cars,
I love dumb cars.
Let's go to the great state of Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Where some lawmakers are trying to ban
EVs. Yeah.
EVs. I mean,
that's just performative legislature, right? Because that's just dumb. What if the U.S. Postal Service uses, or Amazon uses Rivians, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Rivian? I've seen them. They're kind of neat vans. See how they hold up. But if USPS does that, it's like, are you not going to allow them in the state? It's just dumb.
They look like Sprinter vans, but
yeah.
Which I do love me a Sprinter van, by the way.
So lawmakers in the cowboy state want to phase out the sale of electric vehicles because they want to safeguard oil and gas jobs that are in the state.
Yeah.
And they also think it's, too much to put in the infrastructure to have charging stations and that kind of stuff.
And because,
they've shown any evidence about that, and you can guess where, just like we were talking about campaign financing, wonder where their money's coming from.
A, and B,
does that mean that every time a new technology comes along that allows for less human effort into this job, they'll ban that?
Right.
Machinery? Are they Luddites then? They're like, why would you use a machine? That should be men digging those holes. Why do you have a backhoe? You know what I mean? It's like they don't really mean that.
Right.
It's just performative.
Do you know when the first electric vehicle was built?
She's early on. Yeah.
It's at the Car Museum in Tacoma.
No. Tacoma.
1903.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Of course, the batteries were massive.
Yeah.
And it didn't go very far.
Batteries are massive. I don't, because it's not a bad technology. And I walk on I live on Rainier Avenue, for all you stalkers out there. And so I walk on Rainier Avenue, and I walk down to Red Wing. Y'all know it, because it's steep-ass stairs. And then I'll walk the stairs, and then I'll walk back home. And cars still to this day, and they are way cleaner than ever before. And they fucking stink.
Yeah.
It is obvious and noticeable. It's like, and we are in our cars, so we don't notice, because it's got like air filtration or some shit going on, but it's like, don't be dumb. And from my point of view, I think we're not... Lithium ions are great batteries, etc., but it's not quite the step we are going to end at. And I think we could be doing...
figure out better batteries for them,
because that's what progress does.
Well,
but now as a fill-in, we could be using like flex fuel motors, which exist on all size vehicles that are 85% alcohol burning, right? And that doesn't mean ethanol from Kentucky. You can make alcohol out of any organic shit, right?
Well, so it could be locally, man.
Biofuels in general, I think, are a totally unsung step, especially made out of plants, because then you're growing the plants to offset the burning anyway.
Right.
Alcohol burns clean. You get like 85% of the BTUs or something like that.
The batteries used in EVs are better than the ones that are used in the hybrids, because those ones you have to bury. They can't recycle those.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah.
It's just different chemistry or whatever.
I mean, it's what kind of batteries are in the...
They're lithium-ion to some degree, but there's a bunch of different...
Well, it's the same battery they have in cell phones.
Yeah, but some of them are LiPo, some of them are LiFo, because there's some have iron in them, some have more nickel, blah, 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 blah.
But I can't even... I suppose I could look it up. I have my phone right here, but it's just like someone said when the Prius first came, I was like, it's not really that great for the environment, because you can't recycle those batteries.
Seems weird, and I bet
they have to bury them out someplace in the desert somewhere.
And again, that's a processing problem. That's the engineers being told not to think thoroughly, like through all of these steps.
We'll figure it out when we have to.
From cradle to cradle is how we should be looking at every product, right? And we simply don't, right? So once that's established as the criterion for products, then the engineers just figure out how to work within it. But it's short-term profits for shareholders, is the criteria. So the engineers have to figure out how to do that instead, right? And there's just no longevity in such a...
And they're worried about jobs. Don't you think that creating the infrastructure for electric vehicles would create more jobs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no,
I think so, but
they're not. They don't mean anything good by that. It's just.
Well, I'm just saying, because they're worried about jobs. Like, that would create more jobs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, the gas and oil thing is like for the foreseeable future, it's here, but it's like
it's not going away, but it's also going to become less and less.
Yeah, no, just the market's going to, if they actually believed in some type of like a free market type thing. It's like, the petrochemical monolith has gotten so much free shit from all of us for 250 fucking years, plus coal.
Right.
You know what I mean? That it's like,
Well,
they're not paying their fair share anyway and never have. The actual cost of fuels are not the cost we pay.
We got rid of leaded gas. Like back in the 70s?
Well, in the 80s.
80s.
Yeah.
So the cars that ran on normal gas, you don't see those anymore, do you? Or do those cars run on unleaded?
No, the only thing running on leaded fuel is small engine aircraft.
Oh.
So they can just drive over your fucking face.
They still use leaded?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
the only
that.
place in the state of Washington that still does.
Careful, you're pulling on the cables.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody is.
Oh.
Whatever.
No.
It's my
I blame society.
Man, oh man.
Sakes alive.
Sakes alive. So, speaking of electric cars and jobs, a certain electrical car manufacturer head, Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about this? I didn't put this in our show notes, guys, but I just saw this article today where he is auctioning off Twitter stuff to make money for Twitter. So he's actually auctioning off computers, espresso machines.
Oh, jeez.
So
ovens.
So the
I like
office
pizza ovens. Hang on. So where can I get this pizza oven?
I don't know where you go. There is a site. There's an auction site, and they've jumped like 90% in the last couple of weeks when this auction was announced. But there's whiteboards and desks and office furniture.
Or somebody looking to start up something.
He's getting rid of all the office equipment from the offices they no longer use.
Yeah. Because he's trying to make rent in San Francisco there, but he's also auctioning off a very large, like, neon bird, the tweet bird.
The Twitter
and a
logo,
big statue and a big bird.
We're not gonna
Want
do
that?
it.
Who would want that?
I don't know.
Nobody wants that.
wants it.
I don't know anybody who's an actual fan of Twitter.
Yeah. And that's not, and giant things like that don't make good collectibles because they're gigantic.
They would. They kind of look cool in
Maybe,
I want a life-size King Kong.
Don't they have the original Rainier R over in that?
It's in the Moai, right?
No,
it's in the Moai. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they put a fake one, a reproduction one, back on the building.
Well, no, because the original one was over in Fremont.
Oh.
It was outside in front of a building. Unless they moved it
now, but
oh, okay. That was, well, of course, that was like 5 years ago. So maybe in the last 5 years it moved over because, and then Fremont also has, of course, the troll. Everyone knows that, but there's also that statue of Lenin,
right?
Oh, yeah, pretty famously. Yeah.
Center of the world, center of the universe. Yeah. Fremont.
Yeah. I played high dive once.
Did you?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I played the high dive one time.
Oh, okay.
It's a cool little bar.
They've got a green room.
Do they really?
Yeah.
What kind of green do they have, Mike?
Well, just in my experience, I haven't had too many green rooms offered. I think 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to share it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you demand like all green M&Ms in a bowl?
Yeah. No.
What was that from?
There was a supposedly David Lee Roth or Van Halen thing.
Van Halen said nobody takes their. And I actually read this. Jack White, I think, was talking about it, where nobody reads like the demands, like the artist demands. So he always made stuff up. Like he wanted guacamole, but it had to be extra chunky, and it had to have like no garlic.
I think I've actually
something like
remember
that.
him talking about that. Yeah.
Some, just to make sure
nobody's
make sure they're reading it. See if they do it.
Because I think that is kind of
is that how those things happen? Is because no one actually pays attention to that.
It's like this the service terms of service or whatever that nobody reads. It's like, and you must stand on your head thricely.
And then you end up a human centipede experiment. Right?
You clicked.
Oh my god! Yeah, that episode of South Park was fun.
Yeah.
That was the only version of the human centipede that I've ever seen, and I never plan on seeing the original.
No,
and there's like what 4 of them now. Those movies?
And people wonder if why do you carry weapons?
I'm not worried about being kidnapped.
Have I ever been a human centipede experiment victim? No.
Well, everyone knows that.
I rest my case.
Everyone knows that fat people don't get kidnapped because they're just too heavy to grab.
Nobody's grabbing me and throwing me into a van, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Not to mention I'm going to be, swinging like I just walked into a spider web, so.
Might
not connect, but it'll be awkward.
I can poop at will like a rat. Leave a trail for the authorities.
Oh, man. Well, let's bring this down a little bit. We had a couple of famous deaths this past week.
Wait, more than wow.
Well, we had, and I mentioned kind of pre-show, Van Conner. Screaming Trees has passed away at 55.
Jeez, bummer.
55.
Yeah, Gary Lee's big brother, right?
Yeah.
That's a drag.
Mark Lanigan, who was the lead singer, passed away like last summer, I think.
Oh, wow.
Like that, yeah.
So half the Screaming Trees have passed away.
Yeah, that's a drag. Sub Pop recording artist.
Yeah. One of the founding major label grunge bands.
Yeah,
right?
they in, what's the movie?
Oh, Singles.
Were they in Singles?
Yeah. Well, they weren't in it.
Their music was, I think.
Their music was.
All right.
Yeah, I Nearly Lost You.
Yep. Oh, geez.
Dollar Bill.
Didn't they film the concert sequence? Wasn't that at the Off Ramp or was that at the Rock Candy?
I think they did. I know they did Rock Candy. I don't know if they've did
I don't know.
concert footage at the Off Ramp.
Because there was a show that they went to, I think, if I remember right.
I could see that. Yeah.
I need to rewatch that movie. It's been so long.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I think Alice in Chains they watched at the Rock Candy. I think in the movie.
Yeah, I think it was Alice in Chains. And
I think some OK footage too, right?
Then Vedder was
OK Hotel. I thought Pearl Jam stuff. Right?
Vedder was in like the cafe sequence.
Yeah, we did that last week. I was kind of joking about the Rocket review. Right.
Oh, yeah.
From the scene from that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, maybe that is...
Made up band, Matt Dillon, Eddie Vedder, Stone Gossard, and Jeff Emmett were part of this fictional band.
Was it Mookie Blaylock, or was that just Pearl Jam before Pearl Jam?
No, it was Citizen Dick was the name of it. And Touch Me, I'm Dick, instead of Touch Me, I'm Sick by Mudhoney is the song that they supposedly did, right?
Funny. That is better than I would have given it credit for.
Yeah.
Mudhoney. They're still trudging along.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't know this until it was probably 10 years ago now, but I didn't know that grunge was a subgenre of punk.
I guess it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the band that you talk about, too, because Alice in Chains were more metal.
They were, yeah. Right? They were Seattle metal, yeah.
Mudhoney, in Nirvana, especially early Nirvana, I would say more punk, right?
Well, I mean, the reason why I say this is because at the Mopop, or whatever it's called now, Museum of Pop Culture, they had, I don't know if it's still there, a section that was all about grunge, the whole history of grunge and where it started and all that, and I think Alice in Chains and Chris Cornell's band, which I'm like Soundgarden. Those two bands were the only ones that weren't really part of the grunge scene, but because they were from Seattle, they got labeled as such.
I don't know, because Cornell and Andrew Wood, which was early Pearl Jam, was the band before Pearl Jam became Pearl Jam, right?
Malfunction.
Malfunction and Mother Love Bone.
Mother Love Bone, yeah.
He and Cornell were like roommates and buddies, dare I say, possibly extracurricular buddies.
Oh, geez.
With the needles in the... Lane Staley Foundation.
Yeah. That was before the fentanyl years, people.
Yeah.
So that was bad enough.
What amazes me about that whole movement was there was so much talent there, right? Whether you like the music or not, there was a ton of talent.
Yeah, I'll give it that. There's definitely talent there.
That moment of time, right? Is that level of talent present right now today, and we just haven't discovered it? Like, is there 4 or 5 bands
I would say
in
always,
Seattle?
yeah, no, and I think my experience with bands anyway, and being around artists, of all types, is that it's, I don't know if it's part of a common consciousness or if they just kind of play off each other and keep raising the bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It could be.
I
It's
haven't
just
been
not
to
given that international recognition because that's how that always works, right? It's like,
I haven't been to a local concert in ages. I think the last time I saw a local band was.
oh, geez, I'm taking you, bro. I go every week, man.
Cool. Yeah, Hell's Bells. They're from Bremerton, right? So.
Well, yeah, and I know one of the
originally,
ladies. I know the Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
The lead singer.
Yeah, but I mean,
Are you talking?
that's production stuff. That's not what I'm talking about.
Are you talking
bro.
about the current lineup? Or are you talking about?
That's Lauren. Crap, I forgot.
I don't know the current lineup.
She's not a subscriber. We'll be fine.
The only person I know.
No, she never will be.
Mandy and Adrian are the only two that I know that I think are still part of the band.
No, they're great. And they tour everywhere. That's a good. That's a good gig.
Well, and Adrian, she lives in Houston these days, so
that's a good job.
And I have yet to see them. You know, they should come here.
They played what's the German pub now, but they played there.
Oh, the Berliner.
Berliner. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
before it was the German pub. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's been a while then.
Yeah.
But
Since they were there.
The first time I saw them was I don't remember her name, but she was this tall black lady. She was fantastic. And then they've had like 6 singers.
Sure.
Do they do songs from both lead singers of AC/DC?
Yeah.
He's the new kid. Brian Johnson, the new kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 1979 or 80, right?
1980 is when Brian. I think 79 is when he joined the band, but then the first album with him came out in 80.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wore that thing out.
I've
in
had
every
3
possible
times
format.
over, right? Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the only album I've had more times than the Black Album.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, right on. Yeah, no, that's a good one. My go-to AC/DC, since we're not at all talking about that, is still Power Age.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal. It's the most bluesy of their records.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what they were
That's
going
the one that has. I think that's the one that has.
Gone Shooting and
that song
Down
right there.
Payment Blues and
Gone Shooting is the song that Mike Judge wanted to use for Beavis and Butthead. That's why that riff sounds so familiar. It's the opening riff to Gone Shooting.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Is there any local bands that we don't know about that we should be?
Well, I went to go see who are friends of mine, but also musicians that I really look up to. They're amazing. They're a married couple, Gretchen and Brian, and one of their bands is Craptastica.
Oh.
And they're amazing. And so Brian can do just about anything, and Gretchen has kind of a Carrie...
Ockery?
From Hammerbox. Kind of that.
Yeah.
But, she's their music's smart, but it's still fun. They're very talented, but approachable, huggy people.
What kind of, can you classify?
They're rock and roll.
Just rock and roll?
Yeah, really good rock and roll. They're really good at it. So, and they had a new drummer. So Craptastic went from a 3-piece where Brian was playing drums to him now on bass, just killing it, and all within like a week. And they got a drummer who just brought it. And so that was cool.
What was the name of it? Mike, you might know. There was a band that, like, I don't know if they're still together or not, but it was Jamie Nova was the singer, and it was like this, kind of stoner rock, like old, Sabbath. My brain is just not wanting to brain today. Black Sabbath, and I can't think of their name.
A local band that was like Black Sabbath? Cover band?
They weren't a cover band. They played all original stuff, but the sound was very like early Black Sabbath.
There was this super metal band called Lesbian for a minute there. I remember. I don't know. I know who Jamie Nova is, but I don't know what.
Yeah, she was. I think the second singer for Hell's Bells that I saw them as, and
and Seattle metal is still is running strong. It is.
I haven't been to a Seattle metal show in forever. I used to hang out with the original the two hosts of Metal Shop in like the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of cool, like the
Steve Rock.
Marginal Way Skate Park has metal shows down there, which is really like literally a cold place because it's giant concrete. It's under a fucking bridge. Yeah. But the skating's great. The metal gets so distorted because it's underneath the concrete bridge. It's amazing. That's worth going to. And then Lucky Liquor's got plenty of metal. So
cool. There's that bar in Pioneer Square that used to do a lot of metal stuff too. I can't remember the name of it though.
Pioneer Square is a different animal these days.
I bet.
This was
it's been a while since I've been hanging out.
This was probably early 2000s. The last time I did any. So 20 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah. We lost Motor. We lost Studio 7.
What happened to Studio 7?
There was a shooting. They got shut down. So
shit.
The city did jump on it.
Revoked the liquor license. Yeah.
And
that was a great venue.
Oh, that was a great venue.
That's the venue that I got to meet Warl Dane.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
He was a nice guy. Really quiet.
Yeah, I went to Warl Dane's memorial there.
Did you?
Yeah.
I would have gone, but I was living over in Kitsap County.
Yeah. And a bunch of shows, practice pads down there. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, well, Van Conner, rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely.
And another big one, rock and roll royalty, if you will, Lisa Marie Presley passed away.
Yeah.
Relatively young also, right?
50 something.
Yeah, not cool,
she's
man.
in her early to mid-50s. She's not much older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a drag.
Elvis Presley's only child. Right?
I believe so, yeah.
But also mother of actress Riley Cano?
I don't know.
Don't know.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
All I know is that she's the daughter of Elvis, and she was married to Michael Jackson for a time.
And Nicolas Cage for a short time.
Really?
For about 2 years.
So she has a thing for crazy dudes.
Yeah, and I think
I probably could have had a shot.
She talks about like Michael Jackson chasing after him even after they broke up. Like, I don't know if that was the love of her life or whatever, but it seems like that seemed to me at the time, and I'm thinking back because this is so long ago. What was this, early 90s when they got married or something?
It seemed like a long time ago, yeah.
Can't even put that box in a calendar, right?
I think it was in the 90s, yeah.
But it felt like it was sort of a bullshit marriage, right? Maybe
like an economics thing is what I always thought, yeah.
Or,
for musical rights or some kind of thing.
Some kind of weirdness, right?
But they never had children, correct?
They did not have children, no. Michael, I don't think ever. Well, he did.
He did, yeah.
Got together with that one gal.
Yeah.
His nurse, and then the kids.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But 50s, I'm telling you, people. I know there's young people out there because you're all supporting us.
Yeah.
All the youth. But mid-50s is young. I assure you. Yeah. It's way too young.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lisa Marie Presley was married to Michael from 94 to 96.
Okay, so mid-90s, yeah.
And then he was married to Debbie from 96 to 2000, which is the nurse lady that gave birth to his kids. And as I understand it, he wasn't even the donor for the.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, they do.
Do they?
It is known. The actor who donated sperm for his kids was the actor who played Oliver. Little blonde kid.
Roddy McDowell.
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, of course, he wasn't a little kid at the time, mind you. I mean, that movie,
Michael Caine as a youth.
that movie came out, I think, 69, so he was like 8 in 69, so I figured.
I'm not going to do that.
Wait, what are we talking about? That those aren't really Michael Jackson's children? Is that what you're saying?
Biologically?
Biologically, they're not his kids.
Is that a fact, or is that a... I don't know. I don't want to know. No, never mind. That's 3 degrees of gossip that I don't fucking need to know, to be honest.
It's too deep in the...
It is just not my... if Michael Jackson came from the grave and wanted to talk to me about such things, awesome. But he's not talking to me
Mayor Mike is like, TMI, Todd, I don't really care.
Well, for that kind of stuff. Some local gossip, I'm in, boy. Yeah. But, no, it's fine.
Right?
Man, crazy.
No, I just remember hearing stories because the kids don't look anything like him.
Sure.
They look more like the mom, and there's like nothing about them.
They're good-looking kids.
Yeah. No, and
it was my idea.
Dude, his Paris, his daughter Paris is like in her early 20s now.
You're stepping in it. Yeah,
I don't know. But in Priscilla Presley, whom I've never met,
alive, right?
I know, and parents should not bury their kids. Yeah. It's awful. Yeah. That's just awful. So I'm sorry to her for that. Because it's just, and any mother who has to bury their child, I apologize for. It's awful. So I'm sorry. Yeah. Plus, she's in the Naked Gun movies, which are delightful.
She was, wasn't she?
It's just a delight.
Yeah, she acted in quite a few movies. Maybe.
Oh, Priscilla?
Oh, yeah.
She was in a few movies. She always made cameos in the Naked Gun movies, and then all the parody movies where they made fun of other movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, he was the king of it. Oh, yeah. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
anyway, so sad. Couple of rock and roll deaths this week, which is never fun to have to.
What was even kind of weirder is that the movie by her dad got awards and shit, and he thanked her and her mom for, or said, "I love you, thank you."
Which movie was Elvis in that he got an award for?
No, not Elvis got an award. The Elvis movie that came out this last year.
New one, yeah.
Was that a Netflix thing? What is that?
No, that was in theaters.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can't remember the guy who played Elvis, but he apparently, since he's done that movie, he hasn't really stepped out of the character. He still talks still talking like Elvis.
Humana. Love me tender, love me true. Empty my colostomy bag.
I want another peanut butter nanner sandwich.
Yeah, the first TV sex symbol, right? Yeah, just all broke at the right time.
I'm glad Forrest Gump taught him that dance, right?
Great. And rock and roll is still taboo because the pearl clutchers were, it's the devil's music and just nonsense. Yeah. Oh my God, it is. It's
What's funny is, like, someone asked me once is that what did I think was the devil's music, and I said anything on Disney radio or Radio Disney, honestly, because it's like Justin Bieber and that kind of shit, or BTS or whatever the hell that new Korean boy band is called, but
K-pop. The devil's music.
Which is huge. Well, I don't know. I think it's huge, like worldwide anyway.
I can't get behind K-pop.
I don't know.
I think
I'm not the demographic. I know that much.
I'm definitely not the demographic. I think the only person in that genre of music that I actually enjoyed at leleast one song was that guy Psy. They had the Gangnam Style song.
Was that considered K-pop?
I don't know. It was just from K. I don't know.
I know.
It's K-pop. It's pop music.
I would love to revisit Korea. I was there briefly, but I had to sprint through on my way to India. But it was briefly. I had to sprint through the airport, just like not even an overnighter.
Yeah. Were you running to the next plane because it was that close, or because you didn't want to be there?
Yeah. Oh, really? Just because I was I've never met an airport security person who won't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, if I was doing something illegal, I wouldn't look this way. Duh!
The big fucking target on my back. Right?
Do you have trouble going across the Canadian border too?
Oh yeah, no, I've got a really good Canadian, but I've also I won't know. It might still be felonious, but I've done things that should have got me busted going across the border. And
which direction?
do.
Yeah.
But I've also been, which nothing, no static whatsoever, and then not doing anything, mass static.
Yeah.
I remember smuggling marijuana seeds in cigarettes. We stuffed them into cigarettes and put it back in the pack like that was going to be the big. But seeds, I mean, nobody's going to.
But back, I don't know, not that long ago, in the bad old days of the, say, 80s and 90s, it depends on who the prosecutor was, who the cop was, and who the prosecutor was. Because, there's plenty of people in prison right now for stupid shit. Oh, yeah.
Well, I back in the mid to late 90s, back when Marilyn Manson was still relatively new, a buddy of mine went to Canada, up to Vancouver, to see him live, and he had a bright green mohawk, and he got pulled aside at the border. It wasn't allowed in the country.
Again, to Mike's point, like if I was committing a crime, would I freaking look like this?
No, you look like every other dude in a gray hoodie. Just blend in. No,
I would look like I would look like Skip over there, and point at the nearest.
Funny. That's why training is important for law enforcement. Training.
Probably would have made a lot more bus if they pull people that look like me over rather than
right
out of the car, long hair. Like still,
right?
Flower power, man.
Like Scoob.
Speaking of Scoob, has anybody seen the hatred and vitriol of going towards the new Velma?
I have not, but I did watch the first 2 episodes.
What did you think? I haven't seen it. I didn't know that I have much interest.
Okay, so it's
it wasn't on the outline. In my defense,
I apologize.
So it's a reimagining of the Scooby Gang. There, at this point in the first 2 episodes, there is no Scooby Doo.
And how can you have Scooby Doo without Scooby Doo?
Because the show's called Velma. And it's about Velma and her friends. There's been some ethnicity changes to characters. I'm sure this is probably why people are kind of
So Mindy Kaling is
she's great.
Is Velma. Velma's
she's East Indian.
Is it live action or is it?
It's animated. And then Daphne.
Shaggy's an African American.
Yep, he's a black character. Male with like the starts of dreads. He's got the little nubs on his head.
That's Daphne?
No, that's Shaggy. They don't call him Shaggy though. He's just Norval. At least, again, the first 2 episodes. He hasn't
He hasn't got his nickname yet?
He hasn't discovered pot yet.
Well,
it's coming.
I think,
So I think once Shaggy discovers weed,
Snacks or a gateway.
Scooby Snacks.
He's probably gonna find Scooby Snacks as an edible, and then that's when we're gonna get the great
the talking dog.
That's when they're doobie snacks.
Is there any Wolfman Jack on Velma?
No. That's
it's dead to me.
But no. Daphne is Japanese, either Japanese or Chinese.
But now,
But Fred has not changed. Fred is dumber than he used to be. He is kind of a rich, frat boy kind of guy. And
Thurston Howell the Third.
Kind of like Thurston Jr. Remember that?
Right. No. Was there a Thurston Jr.?
There was when they got rescued.
Holy smokes! He's one of my all-time favorite voices, though. The guy Thurston Howell the Third.
Yeah.
Did he do Mr. Magoo too?
He did. Yeah.
No, I love that guy. Nice.
But Fred is portrayed as like this, rich kid who can't do anything for himself.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
So is it up in arms because of the racial ethnicity makeup?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the hatred. I've seen posts about it, but I've not actually read any of it because it's like I'm waiting to see more episodes before I make any kind of judgment. I honestly don't care that they change the ethnicities of the people.
Make it more accessible to.
And has King the Conqueror taught us nothing?
Yeah.
There's a multiverse out there, people. It's like any of these fictional fucking characters can take any route they want to go, man. It's fiction.
Okay, you're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
Yes. Yes.
I tell you what,
I've been waiting to use that for so long.
You go buy the rights to Scooby-Doo, and you can make it any fucking way you want to make it.
Well, and the thing is,
relax. Or make some fanfic, dude. Do your own fanfic.
It's only been 2 episodes. That's why I'm kind of giving it like at least 2 or 3 more episodes before I say this is bullshit.
So you haven't you're like, I'll give it a few more episodes.
I'm just hoping that it's just like slow start, like it's a slow, a slow burn with you're being reintroduced to all these characters as if they've never known each other before, or they have a mild, like Daphne and Velma used to be friends before high school. Daphne became one of the popular kids, and then Velma is like the weird kid.
Fucking Daphne. Okay, is it on like HBO? What is it on?
It's on HBO Max. The first 2 episodes are on there right now, and I think new episodes are on Wednesday.
Is it adult?
It's definitely not for kids.
Okay.
Not for kids. It's not at all for kids. Because one of and I don't want to give away anything, but one of the things about Velma is she has hallucinations. Like,
sweet.
So she's having like these like fucking what would you call it when they're dreaming nightmares in the middle of the day, kind of
like a waking dreams?
That's what it's called. Yeah, waking dreams. She has waking dreams, and it's
poor kid.
And it's largely because her mom went and disappeared. She doesn't know what happened to her mom. So that's what inspired her to become a private investigator,
junior detective.
Did anybody watch? I think on Amazon, Undone. Know what I'm talking about?
Undone.
It's really brilliant. It's kind of rotoscoped. You know what I mean? Where it's like animated over live action. Yeah, just like Lord of the Rings, the Rob Baxley stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's same kind of thing where it's like, is she having a schizophrenic break?
Yeah.
Or is reality
Undone?
Yeah.
Where's it streaming?
I'm pretty sure it's Amazon. But it's got Bob Odenkirk as I don't know. I thought it was really, really well done. And just a good handling of such a thing.
Okay.
Right? Because, I mean, perception's most of reality.
Nine-tenths of reality, right?
Right? That's kind of the thing. I guess if you're, objective or subjective, that's a... But, and also, what's the one with Sir Anthony Hopkins, the father?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, man, that's heartbreak. But same kind of thing. It's like...
is that a series or a movie?
I think it's a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've not seen Undone, but I'm adding it to my watch list.
It's worth watching. It's not Sunshine and Lollipops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very well done.
Yeah.
Nice.
For that same kind of thing, but I think with Velma anyway, I assume since it's part of the Scooby-Doo universe that there will be the perception of ghosts and goblins anyway, right?
Yeah, we've already seen.
It's like Shutter Island with Velma, right? So she doesn't know what part
exactly.
of it.
That's exactly what's going on. We've seen ghosts and weird shit happening, but a lot of it's been in her head.
Yeah.
So
bummer,
man. And she would have got away with it too if it weren't for those meddling podcasters and their derp.
Yes. Derp's is spoiler free though.
Yes.
Thank you, Derp. You're too kind. You're too kind.
Too kind. Thanks, everybody.
I didn't realize it looped.
Oh, my goodness.
So, random question?
You guys want to do a random question?
Yeah.
I got some written down.
I just thought of a random question.
Who do you want to ask?
Actually, I'll ask you both.
Whoa.
Because I want to hear what you both... If you could get one more season of any show...
Oh, jeez.
That's no longer being produced.
Ding, ding, ding.
Mike.
The Expanse.
Oh, I never did watch that.
Oh, man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's great.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Any show, one more season.
Whether just because you want to see it again or you want it to have an actual...
Bewitched on Skinamax.
Have an actual ending versus just like the abrupt
Elizabeth
ending.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
She's no longer with us. Jeannie's still around, though.
Barbara Eden? Oh, that's nice. Is she really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
God, so many good shows have gone off the air.
Could be a more recent one. Could be one from your childhood.
Yeah, just thinking about one.
Marine Boy, season 4.
Star Blazers.
Oh
my God, yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because did it end on the note? The Comet Empire was the second epic, and then after that, there's some other.
They did a sequel series, I think, in the 90s or the early 2000s.
Did it really?
Yeah.
And there's a great live-action film. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I actually found Star Blazers on the Internet Archive. I've been rewatching it.
It's good stuff, and it's
Yamamoto.
Oh, yeah, it's just tugging at your heartstrings. Earth only has 100 days left to live. They're dropping radiation bombs and shit. Like, fuck.
Dude,
Come on, guys.
As far as like one more season, honestly, there was a show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Eureka. It was a great show.
That's off the air now?
It's been off the air for about a decade now.
Yeah. I wish they would go back and redo the last season of Battlestar Galactica.
Which I didn't see. The Edward James Olmos.
Yeah. The last season just...
Yeah, it was so fucking weird. You know what?
So good for.
I'm gonna have to go to Emerald City.
Game of Thrones. You never go full Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna have to go to Emerald City Comic Con this year and ask Kara Thrace herself, what was the deal with her character? Was she a Cylon? Was she an angel? What the fuck?
Yeah, that just went off in this weird thing. And what did she go off to make a movie or something? Because she left for a while, right? In the middle of the season,
I think she went off to do a movie or something. I don't know.
I wish they would do. I wish they'd just redo that whole last season.
She's going to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian coming back.
Yeah.
Who's that again?
Katie Sackhoff.
Oh, she's busy. Oh, yeah, no, she does.
She's up here, right? She lives in the Seattle.
I don't know, but she had a couple of.
Well, she's from Vancouver, so I wouldn't be. Dude, if she lives in this area, we should totally see if we can get her on the podcast.
Yeah, if you can get her, let's do it. Katie, welcome anytime.
Yeah, anytime. No, that lady delivers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We will definitely.
And
not.
it seems like she works a lot.
Yeah, she was on a show where she was like a cowboy or a sheriff or some shit.
Yeah, Longmire.
Yeah, she was the deputy in Longmire.
Yeah. I think she was in every single episode of Longmire.
Yeah, I think she was like the main character, wasn't she?
Longmire.
But
it's a good show. It's a good
decent show.
Yeah. No, she had a reoccurring character on The Flash as well.
I didn't watch The Flash.
I enjoyed the first few seasons. Yeah.
They're going to be doing the final season like in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's like 12 seasons, right? That's been going a minute.
I think it's the 9th season.
Jeez, that's amazing. Yeah. And of all the WB, DC stuff, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it from the very beginning. There was a couple seasons that were kind of like, what?
But I'm Team Joe, the dad, all the time. Yeah, he's the only one that makes any sense. Everybody else just...
And yeah, he's...
young and foolish.
He hasn't been that active in the last 2 seasons, so... But yeah, it's a great show. I'm sad that it's going, but I'm glad they made it 9 seasons, because the original one from the 90s only had like 1.5 seasons, I think.
And it's not the same actor as the movies, right?
No, not at all.
He's super charming. He does a great job.
Although Ezra Miller did make an appearance in the crossover as the DCEU Flash. And
have they learned nothing from the MCU?
Yeah, well, geez. In DC's crossover, they have whatever bug gives comic book companies crossover ideas, they invented it. Yeah. They really did. I
don't know about that. They've been doing crossovers for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah. Marvel and DC both have done crossovers. In fact, the one that I thought was the best was when they actually created another company called Amalgam, which is essentially they take characters from both universes, and they did a crossover series of comics where DC characters fought Marvel characters and vice versa, or worked together with or whatever. But then the Amalgam series, where it was basically a mashup comics where they take a DC character and mash it up with a Marvel character. And the one that I thought was absolutely the best and should be made into a movie is Dark Claw. Can you take a guess who that was a mashup of? Batman and Wolverine.
Oh, squeezed together as one crime fighter?
So Logan...
Oh, it's like a mashup.
Yeah. So Logan was adopted by the Waynes.
Yeah. Oh.
And they died.
I mean, Jesus Christ, that's all you need. It's like a Wolverine. Batman would kill every criminal in Gotham.
Does Wolverine have... I mean, he's got his mutant powers, which
he's got the claws, too. The claws are also...
claws, though, a manufacturer from...
No, he had bone claws before he had
I guess if you look at the old... which I never really did like that part.
I didn't care one way or another about that, but he had claws that had like the bat kind of theme to him.
Like a batarang?
They were like batarangs coming out of his fists. Yeah.
Sweet.
And his arch nemesis was the hyena. So it was a mashup of Sabretooth and the Joker. And his youthful ward was Sparrow, which was a mashup of Robin and Jubilee.
Interesting.
Geez, that's a lot to take.
Yeah.
And
that's not even the beginning. That was one series. They did a bunch of different ones. They had like Spider-Man and
combining Buddhism and Catholicism. It's just a lot to take
like RCA
in.
and Hitachi
I got to work through here.
It's DVD or DVD HD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
For the newer people.
But everybody needs to watch The Expanse. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's good. You care about the characters. They did change it from the books, but it really rolls out well. And they had to end it, but they ended it really well.
Okay.
So we had a place where they could. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm in the search for the wife and I have our shows that we watch together, right? And then I have a ton of my own where I know she's not going to enjoy it, so I run off and binge the entire seasons. But
yeah.
And I'm in the midst of needing
it's good stuff.
And I did catch the first 2 episodes of the new Night Court, which so far is not terrible.
All right.
All right.
It has the same feel to it. John Larroquette's back. No, he's the only person from the original
cast. Dan Fielding.
Mac's not back and Bull's not back.
Mac, the guy who played Mac, died last year.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, he was a stand-up, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he did stand-up for years.
So. And then Harry Anderson died like 10 years ago.
I remember that.
I think Marky Post also died last year.
Oh, geez.
So the only ones left is Dan, Bull, and then Ross.
Warfield.
Marsha Warfield's still alive.
Yeah.
She's like in her...
But she didn't want to come back, or...
I don't know. I follow her. She hasn't said anything about it, so it's possible I would think if she's not happy with it, she would have been bitching about it, but I think she's probably going to have a cameo at some point.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bull. I think they're not going to be like a regular characters, but they might show up later on.
All right. I don't know. I mean, I kind of have it in my childhood memories, Night Court, and
you can watch the original Night Court on Amazon.
Yeah.
So. I want to see Brent Spiner come back as the hillbilly guy.
Sure, I've seen those clips anyway, and I did watch it relatively often. He was like after...
it was like the Thursday night awesomeness that NBC used to do, like Cheers and Family Ties. And,
and it ran from like late 80s to like... late 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Ran for
I think that might have been the best night of network TV, right? Because you had Family Ties, you had Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, Night Court, and then Hill Street friggin' Blues,
yeah, that was
right?
A great show,
I mean, all just in one night.
Yeah.
It's like, my head's going to blow
Hill
up.
Street Blues, that's what gave Howie Mandel his stardom, isn't it?
That was St. Elsewhere.
St. Elsewhere,
Okay.
Which I think might have had some, because, Hill Street Blues was a Stephen Bochco joint.
Yeah.
And I have not seen it since, and I was a kid.
Yeah.
I have never
So
watched
I
it.
don't really know if it was good, but I remember thinking it was good at the time.
I never watched it.
Yeah. But
I thought
and I remember
Dukes of
caring
Hazzard
for the
was good,
characters,
too,
because one of the characters gets shot or some shit, and I felt bad for him. It's like, so that's something, right? I mean, because that's their job, is to portray that they're actual beings, right?
All right. Well, hey, we're like 10 over, so...
Oh, jeez.
10 over what?
An hour? 11 over now.
We're
fine?
I think we're
Okay.
good to go 90, right?
Yeah, we can good. We're good. I just want to make sure we're,
Yeah, maybe on the flip side of this, we need a little tick-tock, tick-tock.
I'll bring one.
Tick-tock, motherfuckers!
just set a reminder on our phones or something.
Yeah. You guys want to do a top 5 for a bonus, or do you want to do...
Well, this already is my dream job, so do we need to even go any further?
Yeah, we could do the the top 5 dream job as like as a bonus thing.
A little bonus thing?
If we could sit around and talk like this and get paid to do so.
Yeah.
There is nothing better than
Right,
that.
and that's on my 5 right
Well,
there.
don't spoil it, you guys.
I'm not spoiling shit. I'm only giving you one of the 5, man. I'm only giving you 1 out of 5.
With a FBI, female body inspector. Yeah, the T-shirts at Ocean Shores, guaranteed.
Yeah,
Oh my God, yes. I remember a T-shirt that I wanted to get at Seaside. My mom was like, "No, I'm not buying you that shirt." And it was like the definition of farts, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Years later, I found it and bought it, but it was like
Your moms can't do
It's
that.
like one of the ones I just kills me every time I even say it is ghost poop. Was where you take a dump and you look in the toilet and there's nothing there.
I don't know. That's it. Yeah. Where did it go?
I spent 5 minutes pushing that out. Where the fuck did it go?
Yeah, maybe.
Holy moly.
Yeah, no, she was like, "I'm not buying you that shirt." So
I don't know.
for years, anytime we went down there, I looked for that shirt when I had my own money and never found it. But then, like 10 years later, I saw it at like Spencer's or some shit.
Oh,
so
great.
I bought it there.
Nice. Nice.
Bumping into my mic.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do like a share and tell if anybody's got anything, and then we'll do a quick end to this episode, and then we'll come back and do some bonus work.
Sounds like a plan.
How's that sound? So does anybody got any cool stuff that they've run into this week? Any movies, books, TV shows?
I actually last week ran across a show on Paramount Plus called Awkward, which was a show, a drama on MTV. Came out in 2011, I guess, and it's a tween drama. In the first seasons, they're in sophomore high school.
Okay.
And it's just about this girl who's awkward and trying to navigate school and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I identify with that. I was that awkward too, except for I never got a girlfriend in high school. So, but yeah, I just finished watching it yesterday.
Nothing but trouble.
Yeah. You didn't miss anything.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I actually fast forwarded to the episode where they went to prom because I didn't do that either. But yeah, it's not a terrible show. It was entertaining. I kept wanting to see what kind of shit was going to happen next because every time they finally squash some drama, something new starts up shortly thereafter.
That's high school life, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't ever want to relive high school days.
No, it's just
like that.
Like I said, it was one of those. I watched one episode. Next thing you know, I'm watching the entire.
Watching
series.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it to be any good because I figured it would be. You know what? It kind of reminds me of the original 90210.
Okay.
It's a couple of seasons, or
So there's 5 seasons
oh,
total.
geez.
Oh, wow.
I know that's a lot.
Well.
So yeah, I binged watched that over the past week. So
All right. Well, I binge watched a show too, but a little bit more recent, from Epix, which I think is now MGM Plus or something. But I was able to get it on my basic cable. But it was called SAS Rogue Heroes. Have you heard about this show? It's in partnership, I think, with the BBC. It's a British show. It talks about the Special Air Service in World War II and how they got their start. These desert rats running around the desert of Egypt and Libya trying to take out German planes because England is losing the war, basically, in Northern Africa. It takes place before the U.S. has entered into World War II. So the
Rogue Heroes, you said?
Rogue Heroes, SAS Rogue Heroes.
It looks like it's on Paramount Plus.
Might be on Paramount Plus now too. I think it came out
it says you're right. It's on MGM Plus.
Yeah, Epix, MGM. I don't know. Plus.
I don't know.
But a really interesting show. It's only 6 episodes, and they go by pretty quick. A good amount of action. It's got Alfie Andrew, I think his name is, the guy that played Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones.
Don't know.
Jeez, I didn't know. I know. And he's also in the first Wick movie, first John Wick movie.
Alfie Allen.
Really?
Yeah. I recognize that guy.
Yeah, and then it's got sort of the jock character that kind of came out. He was the bully in the first season of Sex Sex Education on Netflix. If you've watched that, really good show as well. But so a couple of sort of recognizable British actors in it, and of course,
Dominic West.
Dominic West is in it as well. He's got kind of a smaller part, but
I recognize his face. I don't know what from, but
No, he's either Pippin or Mary.
oh, he was in The Crown, The Wire, The Affair, Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
I recognize him from
Big time
Les
British
Mis. Well, that's a TV show. I never watched that. I watched the movie.
But like I said, good action, great soundtrack, great rock and roll soundtrack. It's got The Damned, it's got Motorhead, a lot of AC/DC. I think there's an AC/DC song in every episode.
Nice.
It's got the Stooges, MC5, I think, is in on the. But yeah,
World War II.
World War II.
That's interesting. All right.
Because they're doing the action, right? They're attacking German bases and they're cruising across the desert.
And that says kill Nazis like Motorhead. So
exactly.
Fine by me.
Anyway, yeah, check it out. Like I said, and it's got really good tomato meter, if anybody follows that. And
the Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. And I actually looked it up because I researched these guys, and they're pretty true to history as far as comparing it to like Wikipedia and stuff. It's based off of a book a guy wrote about these guys that started this Special Air Service in World War II. So check it out. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find it elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
don't have the MGM.
I don't have the MGM Plus, and
it might, if you have HBO, you might have gotten Epic, so you might look and see, because Epic's became MGM.
Yeah, I think after Amazon purchased, I think MGM, they started making changes to things.
Yeah. Mike, you got
It's all going to just be one giant company. It used to just be RJR Reynolds, but now it'll be Amazon, RJR, Sony.
It's right now. It's like the big ones are like Amazon, Netflix, and Disney Plus.
Yeah. Ma Bell's coming back, boys, and she's pissed.
I'm taking it back.
I drove. I had a doctor's appointment. My doctor's at Harborview, so I drove to Harborview, and Capitol Hill has every single construction crew of all time on this planet is on the hill.
I was up close to there. I was over on Spring, right off of Broadway, apartment complex there.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I saw all up Madison was all closed down. And
oh man, it was a lot. And I'd known, what I know now. I'd just taken the bus like I usually do, man.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Take the 101 right downtown.
Yeah, and then just walk up the hill. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
But oops. So I got that going for me. And then I don't know what else I do this week. Been trying to walk every day. I did see Ryan Johnson directed Glass Onion, the Knives Out Glass Onion.
Oh yeah. You mentioned watching that.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and you.
The guy that did
the Star Wars.
The second one. Of the sequel.
Oh, Rain Johnson.
Is it okay?
Was it Rain Johnson?
It's Rain. Yeah.
Rain Johnson.
Okay. That guy. But I enjoyed it. So
until he started picking apart like what was going on, I was like completely lost in that movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Huh? Okay. And then he started picking it apart. I was like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah. No, and he's not so. I liked it. I did.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I thought the characters were really well done. Everybody did a fine job. Eddie Norton delivers as he does.
Daniel Craig is good.
Daniel Craig is.
Yeah, I think he's doing a good. He's got a really deep kind of Creole accent going on, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he tried that on.
Those British folks seem to always do a Southern accent. A Southern American accent.
Yeah, really, and it's it's a deep kind of Frenchy, right? Like, it's neat.
The British can do accents really well because they understand language better, I think, than we do.
Yeah, maybe so.
And he seems capable. I don't know if I've ever seen him really stretch, but because I don't watch the James Bond movies. But.
I haven't watched a James Bond film since Moonraker until Brosnan stopped being.
Moonraker.
Oh yeah.
Now, I've seen the Daniel Craig ones, and they're not bad. I mean, they're...
I have them. I just have never watched them.
Yeah.
It's just usually not on my radar. If I'm going to watch an action movie, it'll be like Michael Jai White or some random kung fu movie or something.
Do you think Michael Jai White's going to make an appearance or a cameo in the new Spawn movie?
Oh, geez, good call. I don't know. I don't know anything about the new Spawn movie. I like that guy, though, and he's got skills. He should be in more movies than he is.
Well, I think McFarlane is directing it, too, I think.
Oh, jeez.
So I think he's working on it now.
Because the first one had, like...
John Leguizamo and...
Charlie Sheen's dad, Emilio Estevez, wasn't he in it? He was
Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen.
What did I say?
Yeah. Emilio's his brother.
Yeah.
Emilio is his big brother. I found that out just in the last 5 years.
I would have assumed Emilio was the younger brother.
Same, yeah.
Huh.
Well, it's all that tiger blood.
You know what? It's Emilio looks younger because he's not an addict for sure.
Right.
Oh man, he's great. Yeah, he's in Repo Man. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
Dude.
Greatest film of the 20th century.
What would,
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. But
oh man, that was like, I remember when that AC/DC came out, and that was just like,
dude, you know, it took me forever to figure out that the soundtrack to that movie wasn't even a soundtrack; it was one of their albums.
Oh, yeah, kind of. I guess both together, right?
No, it's never been called the soundtrack to.
Interesting. I bet that's a lawyer made that distinction somewhere. Because it is, but I bet you have to, whenever somebody says they're doing the score or they wrote a soundtrack or whatever, I'm sure somebody has to get paid, and the lawyer went, no. We will not let you get paid.
We're going to let you use these songs, and we'll put these songs on this album. And it's what is the name of that album? Who Made Who?
Yeah, what's the hit song? Yeah,
that's the name of the album too.
It is.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah.
Oh yeah, Brian Johnson, that guy.
Oh man,
have you seen his car show?
No.
He has a show where it's not much different than the Jay Leno's show, where he just basically shows you a new car every week.
Is it his car collection?
It's like his collection, or he goes and meets up with people who have nice cars and stuff. Yeah, really cool.
All right.
He was doing that during the time that he wasn't the singer for the band. He had to step down because of his hearing loss possibility.
Right.
Yeah.
When Axl Rose stepped up and sang AC/DC for a tour.
Who's left in that band? I mean, Angus is alive, right?
Well, the only one who's passed away so far was Malcolm.
Right? Yeah.
Everybody else is still original.
Yeah, but Phil Rudd was out.
Well, he got arrested for child pornography.
Yeah. No, that wasn't Phil. That was the new guy, the guy with the shaved head. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Phil Rudd's the original. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think Phil Rudd was out of the band by then. Yeah. No, that guy was like an international.
Are you sure?
I'm 97.5. I'm gonna Google that right now. 98.6% sure. 98.6. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And also the drummer for John Cougar Mellencamp's touring band.
Oh, Kenny
was
Arnoff.
Famously a fugitive for if it's the same guy. Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah. Kenny Arnoff is one of the best drummers. I mean, hardest hitting.
Yeah. And he's a big bald-headed guy too, right?
He is.
Oh, so maybe it is somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, well, the bald guy from AC/DC was Chris Slade, but let's see here.
Yeah, Phil Rudd, right?
Phil Rudd would rejoin the band for their comeback album, Power Up.
Maybe bless AC/DC, man. They've released the same album for the last 40 years, right?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not quite, but I mean...
It's the same sound, but different song. Different arrangement of the same chords, right?
Right.
Yeah, which I don't know.
Hey, if it works.
I got they've sold like 500 million records, dude. I got nothing to say.
I'll take half that in cash.
Yeah. I look at it like this. If the band has more cover bands than any other band in the world, what does that say about your band?
Yeah. Well, that people's
recognizable,
and that's just the world's just the world, man. It ain't got nothing to do with my tastes at all. I feel fortunate that I can find things that I do like in this fast, crazy world, but it ain't about me.
It never was.
It just never was. And once I got that, everything else was gravy because I do like gravy.
It's not about you with Jamal, Marianne, and Cousin Tom.
Hey.
Well,
That's a good callback. Right?
well, on that note, do you guys want to end on a positive message and then take a little break and then we'll film a little bonus?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Who's guys? I saw something positive, and it was like a little reel that I saw somewhere where this gal comes up to this guy and he's trying to teach something. I don't know what it was, but she comes up to him and she says, and he's a younger guy, she's probably in her 40s, and she's like, I really want to take what you've taught us and run with it, but I feel like I'm 40 something and I'm too old, right? And he's like, you're only 40 something,
Yeah.
People live well into their 80s and 90s these days.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of life yet to live.
Do we want to, though, is a thing.
Well, it depends on if you're healthy or not, right?
Sure.
But so guys like us of a certain age, starting up a podcast, starting up whatever,
Right.
whatever you got, life has in store for you. It's never too late, right?
We have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Right. Because because what's the saying is the best day to plant a tree was 40 years ago.
Right.
The second best is today.
Right.
Right. Same kind of thing. If you want to start a new chapter in your life, the best time might have been 40 years ago, but you didn't. So today is the best day.
Yeah.
My grandmother, my dad's mom, said when she was in the hospital, she was actually like getting treatment for cancer and stuff, and she said to me and my cousins, we were visiting, she says, "You're only as old as you feel," and I feel like I'm 16. It's like, really, Grandma? You're essentially sitting in your deathbed. Well, really, you feel 16? It's like, well, beyond like dying, Todd, yes, I feel 16.
It's an attitude comment,
Right. I met this woman at the downtown Renton post office a couple of years ago, and
Like a block away.
and she had some stickers all over, and I was curious about it. I asked her about it. This woman had retired from her career, whatever, age of like 65, 64, regular retirement age.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not done yet. I've always wanted to go to law school and become an attorney and get my law degree and help people. So she did it.
Yeah.
Mid 60s, went back, did her whole law school thing, got her law degree, and now she, I believe, was working on like the Innocence Project, right?
Jeez, yeah.
And I was like, God damn. And she's like 70 something. And she's like, I'm going strong. I'm
Jeez,
going
that's
to
great.
help as many people as I can. And it was like, wow, that is totally the way to look at life.
Yeah. Sure.
And no, more power to you if you get 65 and I've worked 40 years and I'm fucking done and I want to go sit in a rocking chair somewhere and watch the birds sing. More power to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we really wanted to encourage either entrepreneurship or that kind of giving back, then we need like a guaranteed income, right? If everybody or whatever you want to call it, like if everybody got a pension,
right?
After putting your time in, you didn't have to keep chasing a fucking hustle,
right?
Just to keep the lights on,
right?
Then you can give back, right? I think that's a great idea.
As a greeter at Walmart.
And as far as the Innocence Project goes, it's like at least 5% of people in federal prison didn't do it.
Right.
5% of 2 million.
Biggest fear.
Oh, yeah.
Accused of a crime I didn't commit.
Oh, it would
stuck
suck.
in a fucking prison somewhere.
Yeah. And then to come out the other side, because people do get released, and they're not bitter about it.
Right.
It's like, dude, every motherfucker who put me there would rue the day.
Right.
I guarantee it. Unless you do find sin or whatever that is,
I don't know. I'd find like push-ups, 5,000 a day.
All of a sudden you're Jack Reacher.
My sister's my sister's ex-husband is actually in prison for murder.
No,
he last time I talked to her, she's like, he spends all of his time in the hole because that's the safest place for him.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. If I had books and stuff, maybe, but I mean,
well, you miss a lot of privileges because you don't get to go to the hole. It's not like a private suite.
He basically have to like get caught doing something you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, or pissing off a guard. It's like then they forget to feed you on time. It's like you don't get your letters. It's like you don't get your, you know what I mean? It's
In
like
the course of my day job, I've been to several jails and prisons in the state of Washington. No,
extrapolate on this.
that I never ever want to go.
No, it's awful. It's awful. And some humans make terrible choices and do terrible fucking things. So I don't know what else to do with it besides
Are you the one
banishing
responsible
them, right?
for those teleconference things that they have for their visitation?
No, I have installed security cameras.
Security
at
cameras, that makes more
Oak
sense.
Harbor Jail. And been there when they've had folks. I've done a project at the Purdy Women's Center.
I call it pretty for nothing, bro.
Don't pick up hitchhikers.
It's Purdy, not
Hey,
pretty.
don't kink shame me, bro.
Mike, it's Purdy, not pretty.
I'm trying to think of some of the other prisons I've been to. There's several Washington State facilities, and I'm never comfortable.
No, anything that has a locked gate behind me.
You walk in and you got.
Or I don't have the key.
And
to
the
it.
guy's like, you just stay right behind me. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
It is, but I don't know what else to do with humans who do atrocious shit. Back in the old days, when we were just city-states, we just throw them outside the wall, right? And then either the animals or other, brigands would get them, right?
Worst one, I think, I went to is it Anderson Island? McNeil. Down in Tacoma. I had to take the ferry over. Me and this coworker went over there to do this big walkthrough, and we got there and we found out that there was no way we were going to do this job. It was like friggin' burying conduit thousands of feet, right? And it's like, well, this is not for us, but now we're stuck, right? We're on this bus. They took us over to where the sex offenders are. And these are guys that were convicted and had done their time, but were deemed not
they're in a weird,
good to go back into society. So they had a little village there that they lived in, right?
The village?
Not that village, it's a village of freaks, man. Not cool.
And we were probably, I don't know, 50 yards from where these guys were, and they were all milling around and looking over at us and stuff, and probably trying to figure out how they could get on the bus too.
I guess, and they're just bored, right? They see the same fucking freaky fuckers daily, so now they get new faces to stare at.
Just wanted to go home and shower alone. For sure. But
I don't know. That's a topic I would love to discuss with everybody. Is what do we do with not just lawbreakers, because plenty of laws have been unjust throughout time, blah blah blah. But people who do awful shit. What do we do?
Horrendous shit. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's not, I don't know if that's been a chronic problem with humans, right?
Big time. Yeah. Forever.
All right.
Well, that was supposed to be a positive note.
Thanks.
Hey, you're never too old.
You're never too old.
Yeah.
You're only as old as you feel, as far as my grandma Elsie says.
Hi, Elsie.
All right, guys.
That's it.
That was it.
well.
Okay. That was unceremonious.